Welcome back to another video. Hope you are having a great day. And we have seen quite a few KVM switches that will allow us to control several computers, several displays using only one peripheral for all of those and sharing the storage and so on and so forth. And today we are going to take a look at this really interesting KVM which will allow us to control up to 4 computers regardless of the operating system with one display and one keyboard and mouse, which might be very handy. Now, if you are using 4 computers with Windows 10 or Windows 11 and you still haven't activated, don't forget to check out KeysFan, where you can find budget official OEM keys at an affordable price, and with the coupon code that you can see on screen and down below on the video description, it will get a bit cheaper. So just in case, I will leave a link down below. In terms of the unboxing experience, we will find the OREI 4x1 HDMI KVM switch, power adapter, a manual, remote control, the USB cables that we will need to connect to the computers, some mounting gears, screws, and a RS232 terminal. In terms of build quality, all metallic. So this will act not only to enhance the build quality of a OREI product, another with a great build quality, but also to dissipate the heat. But truth to be told, that it really handles the heat well, because I had 2 computers beneath when I was doing the test, and I will share that in just a moment, and I did not feel any temperature, so it's doing its job great. In terms of connectivity, we will find at the front 2 USB 2.0 ports, 1 infrared receiver, 4 LED indicators that will tell us which computer is showing on screen, a switch button, and a power LED. At the back, we will find 1 HDMI input and 1 USB 2.0 input for each of the computers that we will connect, up to a maximum of 4 computers, as we can see right over here. We will have 1 single HDMI out because we will be using only 1 display for this setup, and then we have 2 USB 2.0 ports dedicated for peripherals, but we can connect storage if we want to, or any other USB device that we want to use simultaneously with the computers, and also a RS232 terminal. Now, the way that we connect the KVM, it's really simple. We just need to connect the cable that comes out from our computer, the HDMI cable in this particular case, to the KVM, and the USB cable provided from the computer to the KVM. And basically this is it. Then I just need to connect the HDMI out to my display, connect my keyboard and mouse. In this particular case, I'm using a combo. And having that said, let's take a look on how it works. And now with a example setup on the KVM switch 4x1, which at this moment we have 4 mini computers to be able to have a simple setup so that I can show you how it works and the functionality. But we have a mini computer right over here, the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. All of these have Windows 11, with the exception of this one right over here, which has an installation of Proxmox, but as an example will work. We also have connected 2 peripherals, 1 mouse and 1 keyboard, actually a combo, which is connected at the back via the USB dongle, and at the front we have a USB pen drive with 64 gigs, and we can see that we are connected to computer number 1, which is this one right over here, and we have the lights on number 1, and we have the 64 gigabytes of storage that corresponds to this USB drive right over here. We also have the remote that I will share with you in just a few moments how it works. In terms of connectivity, as we have seen before, we just have each of these computers connected via the HDMI cable and also the USB cable included. Now, the basic usage is, if I want to change between computer number 1 and computer number 2, I just need to press the switch button and it will go from 1 to 2. Actually, it will cycle, as we will have the chance to see. And here we are, computer number 2, and one of the things that I would like you to notice is that the 64 gigabyte thumb drive did pass from computer number 1 to computer number 2. So now at this moment I've got access to this data. So if I want to drag any data from this computer to the USB drive, and then I want to go back to computer number 1 and using the remote in this particular case, I will have access to those files right in the moment right over here. So I've got access to the thumb drive. So at this moment I could just grab the files, which I don't have any, and put it on this computer regardless of the operating system that we are working. Now we have seen number 2. Let's go to number 3, which is this one right over here, the R86S. And here we go, we have the 64 gigabytes USB drive right over here, accessible on this mini computer as well. And the peripherals we have access as well, so I can go with my mouse, and with the keyboard I can just write my name, for example, and we will see that it's all working. Now if I go to computer number 4, we will see that we have Proxmox. And although Proxmox, I would not need a display, this just as an example, I can use the peripherals as well. And on the small characters right over here, you might see, and hopefully you do, writing right over there, and now deleting everything. So regardless of the operating system, once again, we will be able to use. Now, if I press once again, it will cycle to number 1, which is this one right over here. Here we are once again with the 64 gigabytes storage. Besides the switch button, we also have this included remote control, which might be very handy if we want to, besides cycle, jump from number 1 to number 3. So I just need to use the number 3 button and it will go directly to number 3. Besides jumping from the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, we also have the arrow keys. So if I want to go to left, I just need to press the left button, and if I want to cycle to the right, I can just press the right button and it will go on this direction, left or right. So very handy. And if you are paying attention, we can see that the USB drive is passing from one computer to the other one. That reminds me that this is a USB 2.0 connection, which is fine if we are transferring small files from one side to the other. But if we are transferring big files, huge files, video files, for example, then I would suggest to connect directly to the computer that we want to transfer files between. So now we are on computer number 3, and to wrap things up, let's go back to number 1, for example, which I did not use the keyboard and mouse, but if I wanted, just go here, write my name once again, Roberto, and there we go. And if we go to computer number 2, which I also did not use the peripherals, so let's just use it to wrap this up. And if I go here, I can just use the keyboard as I would use it, connecting directly to the machine that I want. It's simple as this, just works. We can connect regardless of the operating system, and you saw the example with 3 Windows computers and 1 Proxmox installation, which is not the best for the scenario, but it was a really good example. We can use any operating system, share the display, share the mouse and keyboard, share storage between other peripherals, and in a really quick way I can transit from one computer to the other one and just focus on what I'm doing. This is just great. So if I'm fixing one computer and while I'm waiting, I can pass to the other computer. This is great for those IT specialists that have several machines working at the same time. They are trying to figure out what's wrong with this machine, but while they are doing a test, they want to go to another machine and save time. So this is the ideal for that kind of setup. That being said, hope that the video was helpful in some way, and if it was, don't forget the usual thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.